everybody, so I'm just showing you all the stuff that I'm doing for my postpartum meal prep. Here we just have some ginger. I bought a bunch of like big huge gingers and I'm just chopping them up into fine pieces like this and going to get ready to store them. Here I just bought a whole bunch of extra ginger to also cut up. Here are some red dates with seeds in them. I'm going to be cutting those up and pitting them. Here we have some dried seaweed that I'll be making my seaweed soup with. And then here we have some beef that's going to go into the seaweed soup. This is what the seaweed soup is looking like. Well, the seaweed disc, I should say. Just gonna put that in the bowl. I think I have to break it up a little bit here. But yep, gonna soak it for maybe about 30 minutes or so before I cook it. But that's what that's looking like.
Here, my table's a hot mess, but here is what I have so far. I'm going to steep this and make a big batch of tea now, and I'm going to store it for my hospital bag. I am bringing a cooler full of postpartum meals to eat in the hospital. I will be having a C-section, so I am prepping ahead of time for some meals to already bring to the hospital. And then when I get home, like, I have pre-made some batches. So right now this is the Chinese confinement tea for postpartum. So I have like all my herbs and berries and dates and things like that ready. And then, like I said, this is going to be steeped and cooked today and stored, so I can just grab it out the freezer, put it in my freezer carrier for the hospital and take it with me. And then when I get home, I just have a couple of these already prepped and ready to go, so that way, like, if I can't do anything, I'll label them Chinese tea and have like my husband or anybody that's here to help me out postpartum. They could just throw it in a pot, add water, and serve it to me. So I'm just trying to make my life easier. Or if, again, I need to make it myself, I just want the convenience. So right now I have just only made 3. I am going to see how many times I can steep this, but I made 3 packets of these, so all of this is ready and set to go. And then I have I pre-cut up some ginger bags. I'm going to store half of these in the deep freezer, half of these in my regular freezer. Lots of ginger is going to be used for multiple different recipes, so I have pre-cut up some ginger already. So this is going to get stored and put away. Here I have some seaweed soaking. I'm going to, since this is all done and ready, I am going to finish washing this. I'm going to wash it thoroughly. Had it soaking for over 30 minutes, and then I'm going to cut up this beef right here, and then start cooking my seaweed soup for postpartum. Going to make a big batch of it and make individual serving sizes, again, some to bring to the hospital. And then that might be it for the day. I was also thinking of I'm going to defrost the chicken and make Chinese postpartum chicken and store it in the deep freezer so that it's ready for when we come home. They can just pull it out. I have a whole bunch of different like grains of rice and things like that, but I am debating on if I want to make this today or if I'm going to make this tomorrow. So I have 2 big things of chicken, but I might just make 1. I'm still kind of debating. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. Right now on this side, I am going to make a big batch of postpartum tea. So I have all of my herbs and berries and spices. So I have goji berries, canopsis, my astragalus, ginger, black dates, and red pitted dates. I'm keeping the pits in these, but I de-pitted these red dates. All of these has amazing postpartum benefits. So this is the batch that I'm going to be making for the hospital. So I have my pot here, and then on this side I'll be making my postpartum seaweed soup. So I have my salt, sesame seeds, crushed ginger paste, my beef, and my seaweed. And then I'll also be adding some sesame oil, so something light and simple. And then I'll be deciding on what rice I want to cook to eat along with this, but this is all going to be cooked and stored in a container to be ready to go to the hospital when I need it. I'm going to make a huge batch, which is I have a lot of beef. I have a lot of seaweed here, just a big batch. So I'll be making some for the hospital, some for when I'm home. And then I already showed you guys in the previous clip that I have already had a bunch of these things saved and put away. So right now I'm just going to start making it, both tea and soup. Pan, I have my extra virgin olive oil that I am heating up. I like to cook with either palm oil, olive oil, or coconut oil. Those are the three oils that I really like cooking with. That's the best in my personal opinion. So I have the olive oil in here heating up. Add my beef. So I am going to add my sesame seeds to it now because I like to toast it a little bit with everything, and it brings out the aromas. So I'm going to add that to this right now, cook that down. And then now I'm going to add the ginger paste, ginger paste to it. Now lastly, we will be adding our seaweed. So I have added my water to my seaweed soup, and the last thing I'm going to toss in there is about a tablespoon of salt. And then I'm just going to let that cook, do its thing, and there you have it. So I'll show you what it looks like in the end. Alright, so I did decide to change pots. I'm going to use this one here instead. Just because the other one I've cooked so much stuff in it, and honestly, purpose for the video, like that pot is clean, but it just kind of doesn't look the best. But I decided to use this one instead. So I have, I don't know how many cups of water, maybe 5 or 6 cups of water in this pot. But however much you decide to make, if you are going to make this recipe, is the amount of water you'll use. So I figured this would be enough for my hospital stay, and then obviously when I get home I'll make more. So I'm going to turn my pot on, and then I'm just going to drop all of my herbs in to the pot, and then I'm going to cover it up, let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes, or until the water starts to really change color. Again, I got some red dates, some synopsis, astragalus, ginger, goji berries, black and red dates. And that's really all for this recipe. Something simple, gonna be so sweet and delicious. I'm gonna cover it up and just let it boil and do its thing. Got my seaweed soup starting to simmer here. Let that cook down, and then we're just going to, what do you call it, pregnancy brain, and we're just going to store everything, put it all, let it cool down, put it in containers, store it away for postpartum, and then I'll be doing the next recipe, which is the chicken, which I'm going to make that in my Instapot. So here is what my seaweed soup is looking like. So my seaweed soup is more shredded seaweed soup, and I cooked the whole 2 discs of it. But it is done, and it smells so yummy. You can smell the sesame, the beef. It's so delicious. So I'm just going to let this cool down, and then I'm going to store in a bunch of containers. Now I have everything prepped for making some postpartum chicken soup. So I have my goji berries, astragalus, the root, the regular astragalus, some rose buds, my cordyceps, some red dates, and some black dates. Got my ginger here, and my phobia is kicking in. I really hate lots of holes, but this is my lotus root. And right here we have some soaking mushrooms. Just have them soak for a little bit, but they're going in the pressure cooker, so they definitely will hydrate and cook a lot faster. And then we have two whole organic chickens from the Korean market. And then lastly, we have our shoyu rice cooking wine that is also going to go into the Instapot. So this is everything. I decided to cook 2 whole chickens because I'm going to try to take most of what I can to the hospital with me. Again, I will be in the hospital for 4 days, so I need like 4 days worth of meals in the hospital because this is all I'll be eating. And then I figured another chicken for at home to continue my, just to continue having food for at home as well. I'm still deciding on what type of rice or millet or whatever I want to eat on the side of it, but for now I'm just getting the main stuff cooked and stored away. So this is the next meal prep. So I cut up the chicken because they wouldn't fit, both of them wouldn't fit properly whole, and then still leave some space for the other ingredients. So I just kind of cut up the first one a whole bunch, and then I cut off the thighs and some of the wing of the second one, but then I kind of left the middle bit here, which is I'm fine with. So there you go. And now I'm going to add all these other ingredients to the Instapot and let it start cooking for maybe an hour or so.